Week 3 began with the Patriots losing to the Jets 24-3. And yes, it's starting to look like the Patriots are doing what they're supposed to do, which is suck for 2024. But anyway, time for the rest of your picks. Let's get started because I don't have time for this bullshit. First up, Giants going on the road to take on the Cleveland Browns. Now the Cleveland Browns are an interesting team to pick. Heck, because last week the Browns get a victory against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then you got the Giants, who score 3 touchdowns, but still lose the game anyway because the Giants still suck. Bottom line, I don't want to make this any more complicated than I have to. Giants, end of story. Moving on. Eagles going on the road to take on the New Orleans Saints. The Saints so far throughout their first 2 games have been playing lights out football, offensively and defensively, and not only that, Derek Carr is looking like 2016 Derek Carr. Finally, it's almost as if they should have fired Rick Carmichael. Oh, yeah, it's almost as if they should have fired Rick Carmichael back immediately after Sean Payton retired. But hey, loyalty dies hard sometimes. But this is a tough game for me to pick. Why, Philadelphia? What the fuck were you doing? What the fuck was that bullshit? Granted, I understand they took some. I understand the Eagles got greedy early in the game before Nick Sirianni decided to throw the football on 3rd down, even though the Falcons already used up all their timeouts. Shit, you could have gone for it on. You could have ran the ball on 3rd down and 4th down and threw it on 4th down if you really wanted to. And as long as stupid shit didn't happen, the Falcons could have had it deep in their own territory, with less time to work with. But no, Nick Sirianni decides to be a dumbass. Yes, and allow Kellen Moore to call a pass play for some stupid reason, then causing Vic Fangio's defense, especially his secondary, to give up that what turned out to be the game losing touchdown for the Eagles. Congratulations, you're fucking retarded. But now I'm worried about this team. Is this a fucking fluke? Was this a fucking fluke? Or is it a sign of things to come? Saints are playing good right now, but I don't know. I'll just go ahead and take the Saints to win. Just take the Saints to win this one. I mean, Philly, you kind of blew it. Should be 2-0 right now, but oof. Texans going on the road to take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 2-0 after defeating the Giants week 1 and then the 49ers week 2. And now they're facing the Houston Texans, who got done beating the Indianapolis Colts and beating the Chicago Bears. The Bears game was a lot closer than it should have been. The Texans really should have been able to put this team away, and now they're facing and now they're going on the road to face a more talented football team. Yes, Justin Jefferson's injury is a concern. They might get Jordan Addison back. They might not. But I know who won't be playing. Joe Mixon, who got injured in that Bears game. With that being said, go ahead and take the Minnesota Vikings to defeat the Houston Texans And that's all I've got to say about that. Though this should be an interesting game, though. Stephon Diggs makes his return to Minnesota. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about that one. Okay, Broncos going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers got done beating the Detroit Lions. And the Broncos got done, once again, losing, this time to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Little Bo Nix threw 2 more picks. And fanboys don't know what happened. Leave hype alone and go back home. Goddamn, you're so fucking retarded. Seriously, can we stop with this Bo Nix shit? And you don't get to make excuses after you. I'm tired of talking about this Bo Nix. It's not just him that's struggling. The Broncos roster sucks too. Some might argue that the Broncos are more poorly run than the Panthers are. I'm sure the majority of people won't say that because, well, they're whatever. And I understand Vita Vea's out. I mean, shit, the Broncos are the luckiest team, but they're not taking advantage of that luck. Oh yeah, that's right, because the Broncos suck, and they're going to lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Take the Buccaneers to defeat the Denver Broncos. That offensive line for the Broncos is worse than I initially thought. I mean, and I didn't think they were that great to begin with. Anyway, next up, Packers going on the road to take on the Tennessee Titans. And the one question I have is this. Why are people surprised that the Packers beat the Colts? Why are people surprised? Oh, because it's Malik Willis starting at quarterback? I understand all that shit, but there's more to it than just the quarterback position. What? Shit. And anybody who understands football knows that the running game is just as important, and that's what the Packers did. That's how they won. They kept feeding the ball to Josh Jacobs and had Malik Willis throw situationally because the Colts defense is dog shit. I don't think the Packers are going to have that much luck going against the Tennessee Titans. But let's talk about the Titans. Let's talk about Will Levis. God fucking damn. Damn, can you stop costing your team the fucking game? Seriously. Week 1, you threw a dumbass dick fuck interception, which was ran all the way back for a touchdown, and that's all on Will Levis. And he threw a dumbass dick fuck backwards pass, and that's also all on Will Levis. The team is actually better than I initially thought. It's just Will Levis. He's just the perfect example of $1 million arm but 10-cent brain. And I think the 10-cent brain is a fucking compliment at this point. Too much of a compliment at this point. With that being said, I don't think the Packers are going to win. I don't think the Packers are going to have are going to be this lucky going into Tennessee. See, the Titans do have a better run defense than the Colts do. And because of that, I got to take the Tennessee Titans. And I was wrong the first time. Don't let me down again. Like I really give a shit, but you know what I mean. Alright, speaking of the Colts traveling back home to take on the Chicago Bears. Like I said last week, the Bears defense is legit. Then again, you have a defensive-minded head coach. Of course it should be legit, right? But yeah, and Caleb Williams, to what really should be nobody's surprise, is also struggling. Why? Because that's what rookie quarterbacks usually do. Not every rookie quarterback is going to be C.J. Stroud. or an Andrew Luck, and I think, or Robert Griffin III before injuries ruined his career and he sucked himself as a pocket passer himself. You know, or Matt Ryan or Dan Marino, etc. Right. This is just how football works. However, the Bears are facing who is essentially another rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson. Remember, Anthony Richardson was not able to play a full 17-game schedule due to shoulder surgery. If they're going to win this game, they're going to have to rely on Jonathan Taylor. But like I said, I don't think the Colts can move the ball against that Bears defense, and I don't think the Colts defense can stop the Bears running game. They will narrowly escape, but I gotta take the Chicago Bears to defeat the Indianapolis Colts. If I'm wrong, then okay, fine. I'll admit it is what it is. Then my fucking bad ending. But this Colts team is not good. It just isn't. And Anthony Richardson's kind of struggling right now. Despite making some exciting throws. Anyway, Chargers going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chargers are 2-0 after beating the Raiders and then beating up on Carolina. Not as badly. Now, I accidentally blurted out last week, when the Chargers were taking on the Panthers, I accidentally blurted out the Panthers to beat the Panthers when I meant to say that the Chargers were going to beat the Panthers. And I even said that the roster at the time was really, at that time, that the roster was bad and that Bryce Young sucks. Which he still does, by the way, which is why he got benched. But in any event, then you got the Steelers. Oh boy. The Steelers' offense is struggling from a passing standpoint, but the Steelers are able to just run the ball, just play smash mouth football on offense, essentially. And for the third straight game, Russell Wilson will not be starting. It'll be Justin Fields again. So far, so good. Good, though. The Steelers, bottom line, they're 2-0. And same with the Chargers. However, I hate to do this, but I gotta take the Steelers again. Yeah, the Chargers actually kind of got exposed by that Carolina Panthers running game. I mean, they were able to run the football on this Chargers team, which means they should have been able to run play action and all that shit. But when you have a quarterback like Bryce Young who does stupid retarded shit, it's hard to fucking do things like that. Like, give me a fucking break. So yeah, take the Steelers to defeat the Los Angeles Chargers. That is not a mistake this time. But if I'm wrong, then it just means the Chargers are moving forward. So forward. But I listen, I think the Chargers are obviously going to be better than last season, but I do not expect the Chargers to go 13-4 with Jim Harbaugh as his head coach, just like the 49ers went 13-3 in 2011 with Jim Harbaugh in Jim Harbaugh's first year as the 49ers coach. This Chargers team still has some work to do, but I like what they're doing so far. Anyway, alright. Late afternoon games, regional action. Dolphins going on the road to take on the Seattle Seahawks. And to nobody's surprise, Tua Tagovailoa is out for at least 4 games. So they had to bring in Tyler Huntley. And I don't know who, and I don't think he's starting this game. They're going to move forward with Skylar Thompson. It makes sense. He understands Mike McDaniel's system, but And then you got the Seahawks who beat the Patriots coming back from behind. Now they're traveling back home from the East Coast back to the West Coast. The Seahawks have always scared the shit out of me when it comes to that shit, because whenever that shit happens, the Seahawks usually lose in those types of situations. However, I think the Seahawks will narrowly escape victory once again against the Miami Dolphins. Next up, in more regional action, Raiders playing at home for the first time this season against the Carolina Panthers. And yes, Carolina benches Bryce Young in favor of Andy Dalton. The fucking Red Ryder BB gun himself is once again starting an NFL game. This fucking guy cannot go away. I'll tell you what. Hey, and listen, Dalton is a good enough quarterback. And I know some people are bitching about Bryce Young's benching, and I always love that the excuses that people make whenever their boy toy quarterback gets benched. Oh, the team failed him. It's not the quarterback's responsibility to get better himself. It's only the team's responsibility to get weapons around Bryce Pudding. Shut the fuck up with that horse shit. That is not how shit works. The Panthers did not, I repeat, the Panthers did not fail Bryce Young. Granted, and Dave Canellis did not fail Bryce Young. Dave, whether you Bryce Barfbags like it or not, Dave Canellis is not obligated to start Bryce Young just because the previous regime fucked up royally because Dave Tepper fucked up royally, reportedly, and took Bryce Young over CJ Stroud. And can we please stop? And can people please stop saying that CJ Stroud would have struggled with the Carolina Panthers? You don't know that. Give me a fucking break. This is not up for fucking debate either. CJ Stroud has a stronger arm, makes better decisions than Bryce Young, has better pocket presence than Bryce Young, and reads the field better than Bryce Young. That's not up for fucking debate. And now, if the Panthers do not have to beat the Raiders, I don't think they will. I'll explain in a minute. Their defense did get a little bit worse when they traded away Brian Burns. Something that if you were going to do that, you should have done it back in the trade deadline in 2022. You would have gotten 2 first-round draft picks, reportedly. That is. Then you got the Raiders. Gardner Minshew strikes again in Baltimore. He beat his Colts beat the Ravens last season. His Raiders beat the Ravens this season. And I'm not taking the Raiders simply because they beat the Ravens. I mean, that's fucking stupid. That's dumb. That's not how I pick football games. But the Panthers still have some issues to play. But here's the deal: if Andy Dalton can at least score more points in the Raiders game alone than what Bryce Young was able to produce in his first 2 weeks combined, and it'll just confirm that it was a Bryce Young problem. Again, they don't have to win, and they're not going to. Moving the fuck on quickly. Alright. 49ers going on the road to take on the Rams. Now both teams have injury problems. Christian McCaffrey is still out, and he's going to be out for at least a few more weeks due to temporary IR rules. I think Deebo Samuel's out too. The Rams, however, are still a fucking mess. Now Cooper Kupp is out, and a plethora of other players. Yeah. So for that alone, unless some bullshit, unless some NFL bullshit chaos happens, 49ers, end of story, moving the fuck on quickly. And let me recap the pick before that. Yeah, I said the Raiders were going to win. Yeah, the Raiders are going to win, beating the Panthers. All right, Lions going on the road to take on the Arizona Cardinals. The Lions. It is what it is. My bad, Tampa. Not much to say about them. But how about the Cardinals? Marvin Harrison Jr. finally stepping up in week 2 after a dismal week 1 performance where he didn't produce anything. I like seeing this out of rookie wide receivers. And it looks like Kyler Murray might be back, and and the Cardinals might actually have a running game too, so that'll take pressure off of not Bryce Young, the little kid in the football costume, Kyler Murray. Oof! This is a real coin flip, but I don't want to break this fucking camera putting it down somewhere where it's in harm's way or whatever the fuck. So with that in mind, go ahead and take the Arizona Cardinals to defeat the Detroit Lions. This game could go either way. This could be the actual game of the week. Unlike what is supposed to be America's game of the week on Fox, the Ravens going on the road to take on the Dallas Cowboys. The Ravens are 0-2, and the Cowboys are 1-1. And the Ravens do Raven things once again, and that's get upset at home against the Raiders. And the Cowboys, yikes. Yeah, I really overestimated the play calling skills of Mike Zimmer. I mean, that's your replacement for Dan Quinn, really. And while it's no longer true that Dak Prescott's job is in jeopardy and CeeDee Lamb's going to be a free agent because before week 1 started, hours before their game started, both Dak and CeeDee Lamb extended both of their contracts. Mike McCarthy's job might still be in jeopardy should the Cowboys not figure it out. Are the Ravens going to start 0-3 with John Harbaugh as his head coach, as the Ravens head coach? That's something that has never happened before in the John Harbaugh era. I don't think so. I don't think so. I gotta take the Ravens to defeat the Cowboys. The Cowboys obviously still have. I overestimated the talent of the Cowboys a little bit, but I was going to take the Ravens to defeat the Cowboys no matter what happened, but with either of those two teams the week before. So something to keep in mind there. And moving on quickly. All right, Sunday Night Football. Chiefs going on the road to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Now the Chiefs have been a shaky team. As usual, they've been a shaky team. I mean, they nearly blew a lead against the Ravens at the final minute in their season opener, and they narrowly escaped with a field goal against the Bengals. The one thing I've noticed, this is what happens when you have a somewhat young secondary. The secondary needs work, and they need experience. And they're facing an Atlanta Falcons team and they actually have a good running game. I mean, that's not something that I had denied, but because of a certain head coach who was snorting Etch-a-Sketch powder, that likes to not use his best players in crucial moments. We didn't get to see that come to fruition. and it also has something to do with a certain quarterback who no longer plays in Atlanta, and Desmond Ridder. But that's neither here nor there now. The issue is still Kyle Pitts. Imagine that. Kyle Pitts is still struggling. Maybe it's time to start calling him a bust. But it's week 3, and that's not how shit works yet. When it comes to the Falcons, I do need to be patient with them. I guess I'd like to take the Falcons to defeat the Chiefs, and perhaps they will be, and perhaps they might end up beating and perhaps they could end up beating the Chiefs. But I gotta take the Chiefs to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. And that's all I've got to say about that. All right, the doubleheader of the Monday night doubleheaders are back. First up is the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills. Oh boy, last time these two teams met was in London on ESPN, and I believe the game was either on ESPN Plus or the NFL Network. Either way, the Jaguars once again beat the Buffalo Bills. Now they didn't. Now Josh Allen, the defensive end, and did change his name to Josh Hines Allen, just so there wouldn't be any fucking confusion. Shit. So whatever, man. So I can't use that excuse that Josh Allen will beat Josh Allen ever the fuck again. But in any event, this is going to be a close fucking game. This is going to be a close game. The Jaguars are fighting for their playoff lives. I don't think they can really afford to go 0-3. And then you got the Buffalo Bills, who beat the ever-loved shit out of the Miami Dolphins. Fuck. If I'm wrong, so be it. But take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Jaguars. Though I would not be shocked if Jacksonville beats Buffalo once again. For some reason, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the Josh Allen-led Bills team's kryptonite. Along with the Chiefs in the postseason, of course. And last up, the Washington Commanders take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Once again, the Cincinnati Bengals are struggling heading into a Monday night. And there may have been some bullshit calls, but the pass interference penalty was not that set up the Kansas City game-winning field goal for the Chiefs was not one of them. And Jaden Daniels, he stinks. He stinks, at least in terms of throwing the football, because neither he, Caleb Williams, or Blow Dix have thrown touchdown passes yet, which is still important for quarterbacks. Running league or not. But in any event, the Commanders are rebuilding, of course, and this is the perfect opportunity for the Bengals to get back on track. And the last time these two teams met, the Commanders were known as not just any football team, but the Washington football team, and that was the game that Joe Burrow suffered that nasty, gruesome fucking leg injury, which, to no one's surprise, sidelined him for the remainder of his rookie campaign. I think the Bengals lost the game, of course. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to defeat the Washington Commanders, but let's see what happens when the chaos continues. That's it. That's all. Till next time. Later, fuckers.